Hello students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Head of the Department OB and HR, Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Delhi. Today we will learn the module Managing Difficult Employees. This module is from the paper Contemporary Issues in HRM and Future Trends. The learning outcomes of this module are: we will introduce the concept of difficult people, reasons for the behavior of difficult employee, types of difficult employees, how to motivate the difficult employees to perform, how to manage conflict and resolve conflict at our end. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand the types of difficult people, learn the techniques of managing difficult people, and understand how to manage conflict in the organization owing to the fact that so many difficult people are working together. Management is not just about being knowledgeable and taking the right decisions. Management is an art of understanding people. It is about how you influence, direct, and manage people who work for you. A part of management is learning how to deal with difficult employees. Difficult employees are those employees who are plain trouble or completely annoying. These are those people in your team that make your life and the life of your peers, employees difficult. Some of the easily identifiable traits and behavior of these difficult employees are failure to follow instructions, tardiness, rudeness, leaving the work early, and being highly argumentative. Some employees make a good impression on you, but make the lives of their co-workers miserable. Identifying these people is a challenging task and can only be done by observing the action of your subordinates. The difficult employees will negatively affect the team's performance and reduce the efficiency. It is therefore imperative to learn how to manage these difficult employees. Measuring a person's productivity is the industry's and job-specific example, but there are few general rules that can be followed. First is estimate the volume and quality of work that this person generates. Second, look at the billable hours if the employee has an impact on them. Third, compare the employee's efficiency with the other employees who do the similar work. Fourth, make note of employees who fail to meet the company standard quality-wise but otherwise are able to meet their standard or quota. If you determine if the people are always seeking to improve the work that they put out, and please notice if this employee fulfills the company's standard operating procedure. Let's understand what are the reasons behind the behavior of a difficult employee. They are either dissatisfied with the job or uncomfortable in the work environment. They don't like their co-workers, dissatisfied with the company itself, or are experiencing a lot of personal issues which may be pertaining to their own family matters. They have inadequate skills or knowledge and might be that they are unable to cope up with that. They have some basic personality traits that clash with the job or company profile that has been given to them. There are different types of difficult employees. Let's understand their categories. The first type are gossip. They are present in every workplace. There are two types of gossip mongers: blabbermouth, who are willing to talk about anything and everything. They are relatively harmless but lead to wastage of time for themselves and others. Workplace gossip mongers. They like to talk about co-workers, spread rumors, intrude in the personal life of other people. This certainly makes the workplace very uncomfortable to work, and it also wastes too much of time. Backstabbers are willing to sacrifice others for their own benefit, of course, in a sneaky and underhanded manner. They undermine the team spirit and hurt the team dynamics. Passive aggressive are the ones who are obstinate, surly, and silently bitter. They use passive aggressive behavior to undermine the team cooperation and adversely affect the performance. Wasters are two types: time wasters, resource wasters. Time wasters are someone who underutilize time at work and waste time instead of utilizing it to do their work. They are not to be confused with an employee who is having a problem with his or her work. They need to have some time specific goal in order to ensure that the work is done in a timely fashion. Resource wasters are the ones who take up and waste too many resources, both tangible, that is office supplies, and intangible, that is time of the other employees. Narcissists are the ones who only think about themselves and have an inflated opinion of their place in the team. They think they are better off than others and look down upon people. They need to be made aware of the importance of the interdependence of the team and the importance of each member in the team. The liar refuses to admit when they commit a mistake. They will always tell a lie to cover their mistake and will never admit to. They have a tendency to tell inflated lies about themselves, which includes battle stories. Their lies need to be called out and they should be told that such things will not be tolerated. Then we have the lazy bones. These are the types of employees who are unwilling to exert themselves. They do not have any sense of urgency for any kind of task that has to be given and that has to be done. They do things as per their own convenience, and needless to say, sometimes they don't even do that task. Combatants are the ones who are always aggressive and willing to start an argument. They have an adverse effect on the team morale and team dynamics. One should stop fighting with them and lay down the guidelines for an acceptable behavior. The other category, that is poisoner, always see themselves as the devil's advocate. They are shooting down the ideas and enjoying the turmoil and the stress that has been created, which leads to a chaotic situation. These types of employees undermine their own work, their team's work, and rarely contribute. Bully are the typical employees who have the philosophy of my way or the highway. They must always have their own way and will browbeat anyone who doesn't agree. They have no trouble in hurting the feeling of others, and in extreme cases, they may become physically aggressive. Bullying is one thing that should never be accepted and should be dealt in a swift manner. Slob are the people who are either unable to keep their work area clean and also create a mess in the common work area. These people are characterized by bad personal hygiene or appearance. They are detrimental to the other employees. They reduce the efficiency and lead to conflict. They have a negative impact on how the client views your team and company. Thieves, as the name suggests, are known for stealing material possession. If something in the office is missing, there's a good chance that they have taken it. There are other types of thieves as well, the idea thieves. They steal the ideas of their co-workers and pass them on as their own without having any qualms about claiming the credit to the work that was done by the other colleague. We have the whiners who just love to complain about everything and anything. Simple. You should cut them off before they begin and explain your decision, removing any avenue to complain. Incompetent are the employees who are unable to get anything done and cannot be trusted with important tasks. The value to the company of such people must be estimated and a decision has to be made to keep them or not. While determining their value, it must be taken into consideration that if there is a problem with a skill set or personality, then something has to be done. We do have the career climbers. These are the people who are only interested in advancing their own careers. They do not understand and care about who is getting hurt in the whole process. They are motivated to do a good job, and once they are identified, you can harness their skills for the betterment of the team and the company. Then we have the job haters who are eternally miserable and hate to do work. No appreciation works with them. Having understood the different types of difficult employees, let us understand how we can motivate such employees. First is, in order to identify the problem, we should talk to the employee and find out what is going wrong. Speak with the other team member and get their inputs. Observe the situation, because as an observer, we can gather valuable information that can assist in the situation. Understand the causes. According to the law of cause and effect, every effect has a cause behind. Once you have identified the problem, then we should take some out time in order to understand the cause of the problem. Sometimes the cause might be a simple lack of skill, while the rest of the time it might be little more complex, like the work environment or friction between personal and job requirements. We must demonstrate the benefits of being a good employee. The easiest way of motivating people is through consequences and rewards. The rewards can be various types, like public recognition, promotion, enhanced responsibility, merit raises, perks, benefits, and skill development. We should also focus on the consequences. While rewards play an important part in motivating difficult employees, the contribution of consequences should not be underrated. Some people are motivated more from the thought of unpleasant or detrimental things happening to them than they are by rewards. Termination, removal of privileges, public embarrassment, loss of responsibility, and demotion are some of the causes that can be brought to effect. There must be an improvement plan. A difficult employee won't change just because you have asked them to. They require a plan with specific guidelines and tangible action. You must follow through. A plan in itself can affect the change, but it is not enough. The role of the manager is to make the plan as easy as possible and help the employee to follow the plan in the best possible manner. They should also be given a periodic review meeting in order to decide if there are any gaps in the plan which needs to be fulfilled. While giving the feedback, we should take into account the following things. Avoiding confrontation. A confrontation will not only help the situation, but it is going to worsen it. Remember, you both want the same thing and are on the same side. Instead of a two-way communication, it would address the problem in a better manner. Avoid getting into a shouting match. Silence is the best friend in such cases, and give your employees a chance to speak. When giving feedback, you should be mindful of avoiding mentioning it to other employees. Comparing the difficult employees to other employees will worsen the situation. Find the common ground. When it is the most obvious thing to do is not so easy when you are being attacked. Finding common grounds helps in reducing the perceived distance and might even lead to bonding. Disagree diplomatically. All people have a different perception, and by being diplomatically disagreeing, you can reduce the resistance and apprehension that others have about your point of view. One should use assertive communication as much as possible. You must avoid exaggeration. Exaggeration and using absolute words like never, always, etc. brings about bitterness. Set achievable requirements and goals. When talking about the plan for improvement, try to keep the goal and requirements that are achievable. Now let us understand the concept of conflict and why conflict damages the organization. Disagreement or argument between two or more parties is called a conflict. Usually, it arises between difficult people only. Conflict can be social, personal, or professional. It can be several types. Conflict of loyalties, where there is a necessity to select between two different types of perceived equal importance. Both the needs demand equal attention and influence you equally. We may have a conflict of interest, which arises in a situation where you are unable to do what you exactly think is right because there will be an unwanted effect in your actions. The conflict of ideas arise in a situation when there are two equally valid ideas, beliefs which cannot coexist simultaneously. Inner conflict is best defined in the famous words of William Shakespeare, to be or not to be, that is the question, which requires inner intervention. Having understood what exactly is conflict, now let's understand how to resolve conflict in a workplace. Conflict resolution is a set procedure in which workplace conflicts are resolved through mediation. There are certain steps that can be followed. You must arrange for a meeting with both the employees separately in an informal location that also speaks to the some level of privacy. During the individual meetings, do not use absolutes. Do not compare the employees. Avoid heightened emotions. Do not sit opposite to the employee. Always sit adjacent to them. After the individual meeting, arrange for a meeting with both of them and you should be seated in the middle. Mediate between the two employees and agree to an accord. Let's understand a framework that's called the STLC strategy, conflict resolution. This strategy is based on the understanding that conflict is always due to the difference between two people and it can be only resolved by the combined efforts of both the parties. S stands for stop. Stop if you find yourself getting too angry. Stop yourself and don't respond. Count up to 9 before you respond. T stands for think. Think before you respond. You should think about the possible repercussions of what you are about to say. L stands for listen. You should give ample opportunity to the other party to explain their point of view. If you have a dialogue with them, it should not turn out to be a monologue. It should not be a one-way communication process. You should hear out their grievances and then share your own. C stands for communicate. Decide what you wish to communicate. Persuade assertively so as to bring about reconciliation. Thus, we have understood that a part of management is learning how to deal with difficult employees. A difficult employee is one who is very difficult to work with. This person can harm the professional future of you yourself and the team also. Some of these people can be identified by their traits and behaviors. The traits, common traits that we understood were failure to follow instructions, tardiness, rudeness and arrogance, leaving the work early, and being argumentative by nature. There are also several reasons for these behaviors: dissatisfaction with the job, uncomfortable in the work environment, don't like the co-workers, dissatisfied with the company, experiencing a personal issue outside work which may pertain to their own family matters. Such people might have inadequate skill or knowledge and is trying to cover up. There are certain personality traits that clash with the kind of job that they have been given or the company they are working for. It is important to motivate the difficult employee so that there is a congenial working environment in the organization. The problem and its causes should be identified. The rewards on improvement and consequences should be stated to the employee. An improvement plan and follow-up is also required. While giving feedback, you must avoid confrontation or exaggeration. The feedback should be given in person and others should not be involved in it. The goals that are achievable or the targets should be mentioned very clearly to the person in question. We must understand one thing, that conflict arises only between difficult people. This conflict can be social, personal or professional. These conflicts are dynamic by nature and they will continue to escalate if they are left to be unresolved. Conflicts usually have a butterfly effect. Even the smallest of conflict can have a far-reaching effect, and they can also have a devastating effect on the team synergies. Conflict resolution is a set procedure in which workplace conflicts are resolved through mediation. Ideally, a meeting should be arranged with both the employees separately in an informal location that also speaks to some level of privacy. During the individual meetings, there should be no comparison made. We should avoid the use of absolute words like always or never. After the individual meeting, arrange for a meeting with both the employees present and have a synergistic discussion to come to a final solution. The SDLC strategy, conflict resolution, is based on the understanding that conflict is always due to the differences between two people, and it can only be resolved by the combined efforts of both the parties. Thank you.